So welcome back to another trade recap. I'm going to be going over how I made roughly $4,000 in maybe I think it was like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So I'm going to show you guys the trade that I took. So I actually took multiple trades today. I'm going to go over every single one. I took around there's like three or four trades I kind of forget, but I will go over them right now. So going into the day, to my VIP community that I was leaning bullish, but we could still have a potential to dump, but we didn't, right? But I was leaning bullish on the day. And what were the draws on liquidity? We had this data high. We had this untapped gap, which is not just an untapped gap. It is also the devil's mark, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that concept, but it's just basically an hourly candle that does not have a top wick. So that's exactly what it was, and that's a very strong draw. And then we also had this high, and then obviously extendo clip right here. So those are like the main draws going into the day. And on the 1 minute, off of open, we actually started to get a solid amount of volatility, right? We get the wick down. This candle, honestly, if you took it off open, not a bad trade. I ended up taking a trade right here. It was like right around here, okay? And I was targeting the data highs. And the idea here is that my stop loss is extremely safe underneath the market open wick. And as you can see, it does not look like price wants to go there at this point. And then the break even was at this untapped 30-minute gap. And as you can see, it took my break even by like a tick. So that was pretty annoying. And then it ripped to my take profit. So that was pretty frustrating, but this is a good trade. Second trade of the day was after we took the data high, we retraced down to this 1 minute gap, and we had a really, really bullish wick out of it. So first entry was this. And I was targeting actually the hourly highs, not the devil's mark. This is the devil's mark right here, the untapped gap. So this was like my break even, but I was targeting those other highs basically because I thought to myself, I'm able to target those highs if I have a bigger stop loss. So I can have a very safe stop, assuming that price will continue pushing towards the hourly highs. So that was the idea. And then after this close, I added in a bit more. So my fill was like right here. And then as you can see, this went up and then break even. So another unfortunate break even, but still great trade. So that was that. And the last trade of the day was very, very simple. I mean, not that simple, but we continue pushing past the untapped gap, and we confirm that we want to go to these highs from this movement, right? So I'm pretty much just waiting for price to retrace, and that's exactly what we started to do. And we honestly didn't really retrace into anything significant, right? We maybe retraced to, I don't even know. There's really nothing that we retraced into. But that's the thing about mechanical trading, right? You don't, like mechanical trading, you would need to retrace into a certain gap. For me, I don't trade mechanically, so I did not need to see like a retrace into a 5 minute gap, right? I just needed to see confirmation of price wanting to go to the draw, which is all I trade. So we had a retrace, and then the second we started to get a bit of rejection, my first entry was actually right here. Stop loss again, right? If my thought process and my ideology is that if I have a very clear draw and I have a very safe stop loss, then my trade will most likely play out. So that was the idea with this trade. Once I started to see a bit of rejection from this area, I entered into a long, all right, again, stop loss, very safe. I can literally play it down here. I think that's what it was. Played a very, very safe stop loss. So my opinion, the only way I lose this trade is if my bias is wrong, which I didn't think it was because the draw was very clear. So after we had this close, I added in a bit more. So my fill was like right here, whatever. And then I also moved this up a bit. And then this was a pretty simple trade. We ended up, I think my stop loss was like, it was like a 1.3 R. So I was risking like 800. I made 1,300. So as you can see, we ended up ripping to take profit in not that much time. So that's pretty much the trade. And then my students obviously won as well. A lot of my students actually took the same trades as me today, which is actually really good to see. But yeah, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, the link's in the description. But and if you want to join, just saw a massive bird. But if you want to join the community, the link is also in the description. Free community or the VIP community where I give these call outs, both there. So appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.